12 News, a story not from this world. Recently released conversations involving high-level government officials claim a UFO crashed in Kingman back in 1953, and then the aircraft was seized by the Air Force.
Tonight, 12 News journalist Chase Golightly went to Kingman to look into this mystery.
At the heart of Kingman, Arizona, Route 66. The famous logo seen everywhere you drive, bringing in countless visitors over the decades.
But in May of 1953, a different kind of visitor came here to Kingman, and they didn't take Route 66 to get here.
They came from the sky, crashing down in the desert in an aircraft not from this world, according to UFO researchers. Say what makes this crash so different is all the research, witness testimony, and even evidence surrounding it. So we decided to find that information ourselves. Going to the Mojave Museum of History in Kingman, combing through old newspaper clippings, sketches, and even redacted government documents allegedly detailing the crash from those who were there, including Fritz Werner.
We now know him to be Arthur Stansel.
The documents claim Stansel was an Air Force engineer who studied the impact nuclear blasts had on homes and buildings. He was one of 40 people transported to the crash scene in a bus with blacked out windows so they wouldn't know where they were. They were told this was part of a secret project. When they arrived, the report claims the UFO, measuring 14 feet high and 30 feet in diameter, was made out of unfamiliar metal, plunged about 20 inches into the ground.
And it was his job to basically determine the speed of this object as it came down based upon the gouge it made in the soil. And he estimated it was about 1,200 miles per hour. The craft itself was largely undamaged.
Next to the UFO, the corpse of the so-called pilot, who was described as being about 4 feet tall and wearing a silver metallic suit. Surrounded by military police, the workers conducted their studies in the dead of night. It doesn't say how long they were there, but when they got back on the bus, an Air Force colonel who was in charge of the operation made them take an oath to keep this a secret. 20 years later, Stansel came forward, signing this affidavit, allegedly confirming what he saw. Then 50 years later, another secret about the crash was released by former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, Christopher Mellon, between him and a senior United States government member whose name has been redacted, claiming people would be slack-jawed if word got out about what they know, writing the U.S. government seized the Kingman UFO.
So is there an official statement from the U.S. government about this Kingman crash? I reached out to several of our congressional members and even reached out to the U.S. House Oversight and Accountability Committee, who's actually held hearings on UFOs and aliens. But the spokesperson told me they have no comment on this crash. We're in Phoenix. Chase Golightly, 12 News.